Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Retail Talk, our show where I interview retail movers and shakers, ISVs and solution providers, and we'll learn a little bit about their world and what they do and the type of solutions they provide. Today, I have Stephan with me from CPU Design. I've had a pleasure to work with Stephan on multiple opportunities. I'm really excited to actually bring him as a guest on the show. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it over. So Stephan, you want to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about CPU?
Real pleasure. Thanks, Dimitri. CPU, we're an integrator based in Eastern Canada. We actually do business across the country here in Canada. We have multiple verticals we are active in. We're in healthcare, we're in public sector, school boards and stuff like that, but we have a big practice in retail. We discovered retail over 10 years ago, and we built an expertise around it. We're a service company first, so we're able to architect solution, deploy solution, and also support them with all the customers across the country.
So that's really interesting. And I'm really seeing a trend in that. We're seeing more and more solution providers that previously focused on other areas, more, as they call it, corporate IT, really find a footing in retail. But retail is a very different beast, right? Retail customers are fundamentally different from, a lot of other corporate IT customers. Tell me what things you find that are different and challenging and specific about retail versus all the other sectors you deal with.
I would say the main point is retailers need help. Technology is all over the place in retail right now, and I think it's not a trend that's going to stop. It's going to keep moving forward, and they need help, and they need also companies that can support them. Because if you deploy something in retail, you have SLAs. If you deploy POS in retail, money comes from the POS. So the SLAs are important. So they need help to deploy solution, and also companies that can help them better support them afterwards. So it's a demanding industry. We were in government for years, and we thought we knew it all in government. But doing service in retail is a different beast. You need to live with 4-hour SLA. You need to be able to have parts deploy across the country. You need to have the task force to be able to intervene. So it's really demanding, but it's a great market because there's also more and more technology. They're looking at the mobility, a lot of new technology to have a better customer experience. So all these initiatives by marketing are bringing technology to the front. So it's great opportunities for HP, but also for partners like us. We have to work harder, but it's a lot of time better because it brings great opportunities. And also long-term relationship. Retailers, if they're happy with you, they're going to do more projects and more projects with you.
Right. Now, the one thing that you brought forward is interesting, the multiple new technologies. And as retail changes, technology plays a much bigger role in the store. And how do you find the kind of onslaught of these new technologies coming into retail, and how retail is dealing with this? You have wireless, you have location-based technology, your point of sale is getting smarter, RFID, and the only thread that I can thread together through all of these is the network, right? The network is kind of the backbone of this. How are retailers dealing with all these technologies rapidly dropping in the store?
They have challenges, and this is why they need help by partners like advocate that can help them making the right decision, because the business needs now are moving faster than ever. So IT teams, they're lacking resources as well. So another reason why they need good IT provider, because they need help to deploy what the business wants. You see a lot of unique engagement right now. Customers looking for kiosk, customer looking for mobile payment. The technologies are booming, and they have no choice because of the Amazon of this world as well. Because Amazon is kind of setting the trend, and all the retailers have to make sure that they follow up and they give the best possible customer experience to their customer. So it brings a curbside pickup. All these solutions need technology. So that's what we experience on the market. And yes, the Wi-Fi is key. Security stays very important, remains very important. And again, they need a lot of, and also we see movement in retail. More retailers are open to do managed services, to go towards managed services because they lack resources. So if an IT provider can say, listen, we're gonna install POS as a service, or we're gonna do networking as a service. They're more open than ever to these possible options because they need help.
Very interesting. So everything is turned to as a service. Fantastic. Now, tell me this. Tell me about your most interesting project in retail space. Something unique, something that kind of you jumps out or stays with you many years after you've done it. Something out of the ordinary.
We discussed it earlier. I think I remember very well, it's something we actually worked together, Dimitri, was with a large pharmaceutical retailer, like a chain of drugstores. It was a huge opportunity, and we worked really hard to close it. And at the end of the day, it was an integrated solution. So no POS solution with many peripherals. And we were at the finish line, close to close the deal. And we were missing something in the solution. We had an integration tray with a keyboard that was too small, and there was a little gap, and the customer didn't want to give us the go ahead to go anywhere if we were not fixing this. So believe it or not, we had to source a piece of plastic that became, after that, a pen holder to be able to complete the integration tray, the HP integration tray. So we sourced it in Orient, we had it made, we brought a sample, and with this sample, the customer gave us a multi-million-dollar go-ahead PO. You were a part of that winning bid as well, but without finding a solution about this specific piece of plastic missing, we would have never win this deal. And it's still a customer will, with a couple thousand units in the field that we're still supporting of HP product, and the customer is still very happy and keep doing business with HP up to this date.
That's interesting, and it's funny. Such is the nuance of retail. It takes a custom-made pen holder to secure a multi-million-dollar project. Only in retail that could happen, right?
Yeah, there's always a little complexity to all these situations.
Now, last question, and I'm asking this to all of my guests. Give me one prediction for retail in the coming year and next 12 to 18 months. What technologies or what trends you're seeing really shape the retail industry in the next year or a year and a half?
I would say a constant mobility is going to be key. Mobility in POS, being able to use AI more with their customers. So I see the multiplication of technology in the stores, and actually we see that in other verticals. Why? Because technology is available now, and retailers know that they can have better success on the market by adopting the new technology. So even retailers that were more conservative are moving forward, and they have no choice to keep up. So it's more challenging too, because all these new technologies require, we have to make sure we stay trained and we have the proper technical resources to support them. You cannot just jump in retail tomorrow and become a retail specialist. You are, after being involved with many retailers, but technology is going to be more and more omnipresent. This is a for sure tendency, and it's never going to stop. It's not going to stop soon, I can tell you that.
I love it. It's interesting. Mobility to me is like a wave in the retail industry. It's something that's coming and being pushed by so many different retailers, almost creating a standard of expectation. So either you jump on that wave and you surf, or you're going to get clobbered in that thing if you don't get the crest. So retailers, like you said, even the conservative ones, are having to find a way to utilize this technology to create a better customer experience.
And you see it differently in the different verticals. We're involved with grocers. We're involved with some large hardware chain store. They don't have the same takeover on technology, but at the end of the day, they all have to adopt what fits to their industry, specific industry. So it's very interesting, and it's a great market. These customers are also very, very fun to work with, because there's a lot of dynamic projects. A customer that has the needs for a kiosk, and you have to start from scratch, and you have to look at business needs and architect a solution and make sure it meets the business needs. So it's interesting. We never feel that we're selling anything. We're just there to help the customers resolving their technical issues or their challenges.
I love it. And that partnership, walking alongside with a customer as a partner is what creates that amazing experience. Thank you very much for taking the time to be on my show. hopefully the audience learned something new about what I think is an integral glue of the retail solution ecosystem, is that partner advisor role that you play to be able to have an independent and maybe a removed perspective on what is important, what other retailers are doing, and what is the best solution for the customer. That point of sale VAR, technology VAR advisor is such an important role, and I'm so happy I had a chance to interview you. Stephan, thank you very much. For everybody as well, thank you, and hope you catch the next episode as well. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dimitri.